welcome back to my channel. My name is MorganChin, and on this channel I talk about product design, UX design, tech, and virtual reality. So today I thought I would sprinkle some tips out and about for you guys because I have been getting a lot of messages from people who want to take all they do in virtual reality, the game design, the world building, and in the metaverse too. And they actually want to do this as a full-time job. I totally understand. It's my full-time job and I absolutely love it. Today, we're going to focus on resume and my build a resume with me. What we're going to do is look for some random job on LinkedIn, and then we're going to find a good resume template on Canva, and then we're going to fill in the resume. A lot of times I see people's resumes and they don't actually align with the job. So that can be problematic because recruiters are looking for certain things and they want your resume to align with the responsibilities and the requirements in the job description, and many times people miss that step. So I thought it might be helpful to show how I would take a job description and align that into my resume. And so if this is just a random UX design, product design job, you can apply this same thing to jobs with virtual reality or jobs for them. While we're going through this, if you have any questions, leave them in the comment down below. And if you have any other tips that I don't cover, things that you notice, leave them in the comments down below. Give this video a like and a thumbs up. If it's helpful for you, let me know that way. And subscribe so you can catch more videos like this. I'm gonna have my computer screen showing and me as well. And as you can see on my computer, I'm looking at LinkedIn. And I just did a random search for product design jobs, just found a whole bunch of different jobs. And I picked this one from the NBA for no particular reason. And so obviously the first thing you wanna do is scroll down and read it. Read this summary, read the major responsibilities, the required skills, the education. Read everything that you see here, and you want to make sure that you feel like you're a good fit. Do you need to hit every single point? No. Women, I'm talking to you, okay? Because we're really good for saying like, oh, I don't meet this one requirement, so I'm not going to apply. Apply anyways. So we see the requirements here, and we're going to use that to help us craft our resume. Next thing we're going to do is look for a good resume template. In order to do that, what I've done is gone to Canva. You can make your own. You can find it on lots of different sites. No real reason that I went to Canva except to find an already made one. So let's check these out. So some things that I'm noticing here is a lot of these are super busy, right? Like there's lots of colors, there's lots of patterns. There's a lot going on here. And what we don't want to do is distract away from who we are, the job we're looking for, and the experience that we have. And it's easy to do that when you start adding all these graphics and colors and things into your resume. You also don't want to put a picture of yourself. I personally don't advise that. You don't need that. So I'm looking for a template that's very simple. I want something that's focusing on the experience, not all the colors. And I'm not saying you can't use colors and graphics. Just be really careful with that. So I'm looking for simple things like this one. This could work, but I think I am going to use this one. What I've done is taken this template and kind of model it to match what I want to put in there. So my information. So we have my name. Very important is the job I'm looking for, or like how would I describe myself? Am I a UX researcher? Am I a UX designer? Am I a UX engineer? Am I a game designer? What do I do? I'm a product designer, so I put that there. Then you want to put your phone number, you want to put your email that they can contact you at, your website. A lot of times with these roles where you're designing, you're building games, you want to have a website to kind of show your work, your portfolio, right? And of course your LinkedIn. That's key nowadays. Everyone wants to see your LinkedIn, so make sure to include that. Also on the left-hand side, I have my education. So what degrees do I have? I have my master's degree, I have my bachelor's degree. Obviously, I would actually fill out like the full school information and not just put my college, but I'm gonna put some filler things in here because this video is just to give you an example and not to actually show like my full resume, even though mine doesn't really look like this, but it's kind of. So the next thing that we have is skills. What you wanna do is go into the job description and look for any specific skills. They even have a section that says required skills. and I'm scanning through it looking for things that I can pull out and put in my resume. But you want to make sure you actually have these skills. Tell the truth. Look for things that you know that you do that they're looking for and put it in your resume. So for example, right here I see experience using Figma. I know how to use Figma. It's what I use every day. And so what I'm going to want to do is go back into my resume and list software that I use. So here's an example. Figma is one of them. Maybe you might use Sketch or Adobe XD. And then what prototyping software? Do you prototype with Figma? Maybe for VR you use Unity or something like that. So you want to include that in there in your skills. So they say work with our research division on user testing and usability. Do you have any experience with research, with user testing or any of that process? I do. So I'm going to go back and add like, hey, I have experience doing user testing. I know how to give interviews. What other skills do you have that might be related to design? Like I can do storyboards, I can do wireframes. I would put all that in that section. The next thing is your achievements. You want to have a section where you can call out any awards or accolades or accomplishments that you've gotten related to this job. Oh, I had this fellowship and when I got it, maybe you can talk a little bit about what it is if space allows. I was in a hackathon and I did first place, and maybe I want to say like, oh, I helped with design, maybe design on a team of 3. I mean, something like that to give people an understanding of this is the award I got and this is my position on the team. So now we're going to jump to the experience section. And so I'm going to look really closely at the major responsibilities in this job description and the required skills. And then what I'm going to do is take those exact words, those exact phrases, and I'm going to put them into my resume, which means your resume will have to change for every job that you apply for. I'm looking for things that they mentioned that I know that I've done in previous jobs or projects, and then I'm going to put that in my resume. The first thing I see here is work with the design team on crafting best-in-class user experience across mobile, tablet, and connected devices like Apple TV and Roku. Okay, cool. So in this first job where I was a UX designer at the design company, okay, I worked with the design team, or you can change the word to collaborated if you want to. So I'm using that, like that's what they're looking for, that's what I did. And they're wanting to know if you can basically craft experiences across different devices, mobile, tablet, TV type things. So I haven't done TV, didn't do tablet in this internship, but I did do mobile. So I'm gonna say work with design team to craft mobile experience for intern meetup feature. Okay, and then you want to talk about the impact. So you don't want to just say this is what you did without saying the impact it had on your team or your company. I know that that's not always easy to do. Sometimes you don't know the impact, you're not there, it doesn't ship. Try to think of something, and if not, it's okay. So I work with the design team to craft mobile experiences for the intern meetup feature, which led to, I'm just making this up, but let's pretend it led to an increase in usage by 15%. That's awesome. So I'm going to put that in there. Led to an increase in usage by 15%. So it says collaborate with PM and Eng to bring designs to life. Oh, I did that on an internship. I actually worked with the PM. I worked with engineering and brought a product from idea all the way to shipping. So I'm gonna say, hey, in this project, I collaborated with PM and Eng, actually like write that out, to bring the intern mobile meetup feature from concept to launch, which led to maybe a profit of X amount of dollars. Okay, and so think about that. You collaborated with them. Were there any other designers or people in that function on your team? Was it just you? So did you now lead design because you were the only design? So you could say, I collaborated with PM and Eng, or you could say, I led design and collaborated with. So you want to think about what are the bullets and the things that I did at this company. Let me go to the job description and think about how I can word it to match what they already have. The next thing that I see under required skills is a low ego approach of challenging your own assumptions and desire to work with others. Well, hey, did you bring any of your work to other people to get feedback? One-on-one, in meetings, did you have design critiques? Were you able to go there, share your assumptions, and be open to feedback and receive that feedback? That might not sound like a big thing, but it actually is huge. And then did you iterate on that feedback after you got it? Did you take your designs and put them into testing to get feedback and test your assumptions? Now I'm gonna jump down because I know some of you have experiences that are a little diverse. Like me, I was an elementary school teacher. None of it has anything to do with UX design interns, or you think it wouldn't. But a lot of your jobs and outside experiences actually can align to this. So let's go back and see. We're gonna read our description and see if there's anything here that fits in with things I did as a teacher. And I already see something. Remember that second bullet? Collaborate with PM and Eng to bring designs to life. Okay, teachers, we don't have PM and Eng, but we collaborate all the time, every single week. So I collaborated with multiple teachers or the entire grade level. You don't bring a design to life, but to bring a curriculum to life. And then you assess the effectiveness of that curriculum. You analyze using the data. And this says right here, a data-informed product design approach. So you assess the effectiveness using the data, and then you refined your approach. I would put that in there. So I am going to add that. Okay, so I made this 2 bullets. I said, collaborated with grade level teachers to bring a new science curriculum to the 3rd grade team. So I'm collaborating, I'm bringing something to life. You can make it 1 bullet, but I just kind of broke it up. Then I assess the effectiveness of the curriculum with XYZ process. Whatever process you use in your school to assess the effectiveness, and then you use the data to inform your next steps, resulting in what? Like, what did you learn from that? How did the students grow? How did the team grow? Put that in there. And then the last thing I want to address before we end this video is projects. Very important, especially if you don't have a lot of experience related to this field. Like when I first started, I was just a teacher and that's it. So my resume had teacher and then like 3 projects. So I would take the same approach that I just did for these design internships, design jobs, and I would apply it to my projects. I would think through the process that my team and I followed, and I would put that in there. So collaborated with a team of 3 other designers to do X, Y, and Z. Tested this with users, with team, resulting in blah, blah, blah. Use Figma to design this process and prototype. We want to put all of that in for the projects based on what they're asking for in the description. Another thing that we want to think about is the importance of this layout. So I chose this layout because there's a lot of white space. It's really easy to read, but the description of like what job is kind of getting lost because there's so much text. So one little trick that I like to do is bold, as you can see me doing that now, the names of the job. Because I want a recruiter to easily be able to scan. Oh, there's her name, there's her contact info, there's all her experience, here's her projects. And then I want the recruiter to be interested enough to dig in deeper and go into the bullet point. Another thing you can do is how it has like the company. So this is the design company. On the second line, if you want to, you can bring that up. So see how I did the design company, and I would just unbold that part because that's not the most important thing, so that there's a little bit of hierarchy. I know where I need to look at first and then what's the thing that's the next most important. And this is big if you have had internships at actual companies that are big, like maybe you've worked at the NBA, maybe you worked at Home Depot, maybe you've worked at Pandora. You want to put the names of those companies on there. And last is, as you can see from this, it requires a lot of collaboration to get this job. A lot of working with other partners, PMs and engineering, a lot of, hey, I went through this whole process from here to here. And so I always give people the advice who maybe don't have full work experience So try to volunteer to work with companies, try to work as an intern, try to volunteer and work with like startups or nonprofits that have like a PM or that have engineering, so that you can say, hey, even though I wasn't paid, I did follow this process. And that's really going to help you when you're doing your resume, you're presenting your projects, and you're talking in interviews. I hope this was helpful. I gave a bunch of tips, but let me know if there's any questions that you have or any tips that you have that I didn't get to cover in this video. Leave them in the comments below. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye.